Okay, hello everyone, and this is video number 2 for your essay writing process, which is how to write a body paragraph for your essay. So I want to briefly kind of walk you through the process. This will take you probably the most of the time for your essay because this will be the second, third, and fourth paragraphs of your essay. Now for this process, you should have two documents open. One, you should have your note-taking assignment from Forrest Gump. That's this activity that should be fully completed at this point. This one is not fully completed because this one is an example for this video. The other document you should have open is the essay outline for argumentative essays that you were working on most likely the last time you watched video number 1, with all of these boxes completed. So you need to pause the video and make sure you have both of these assignments open right now. Alright, if you're back, you should have both of these assignments open, the note-taking activity and the argumentative outline. Now, these, you should have already done the introduction. These boxes should already be filled on your document using the three central topics that your essay is going to argue are prevalent throughout the story. If these boxes are not complete, that means you are on the wrong video. You need to go back and do video number 1, how to write your introduction first. That's this part. But if you are ready to go, you should now be watching video 2, obviously, and we're going to move on to the body paragraphs. Now, the body paragraphs simply focus on each of your different central topics that your paper is going to focus on. Body paragraph number 1 is going to focus on central topic number 1. That is running for my essay. Body paragraph number 2 is going to focus on central topic number 2, which is destiny in my essay. And body paragraph number 3 is going to focus on the central topic of love. Now, your 3 might be different than my 3 because it's up to you which 3 you're choosing to write about. For my example, these are the 3 that I'm writing about. So, now you're ready to go to body paragraph number 1. So body paragraph number 1 is clearly about running, the topic of running. So I'm just going to type that here, even though that doesn't matter. I'm just going to do that just so I know what this topic is about. This is not going to go in the essay, or this paragraph is about. So if you want to, you can pause the video, write your topic right there. Okay, so you want to start off each body paragraph with your theme statement that you created about that topic. Now remember, the theme statement should be back on this document, the original note-taking document, down here at the bottom where you prepped your essay. So you can see I had running as my central topic, and my theme statement was sometimes people need to run in order to save themselves, yet sometimes running is not the proper solution. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and copy this. So I can hit Control-C, again, Control-C to copy, or sometimes you can just right-click on it and just copy, but most likely you'll have to use Control-C. I'm going to come back over here, and I'm just going to paste it right there. That's my theme statement. This is going to be the first sentence of this paragraph. So sometimes people need to run in order to save themselves, yet sometimes running is not the proper solution. So now what do I need to do? Now I need to prove that this is the theme. Now this is the point of an argumentative essay. You're arguing something. You're proving something. You're like a lawyer. You need to prove to me that running is a topic in this story and that this theme is prevalent in that story. So how do you do that? You simply do that by giving me real examples from the story that show me sometimes people need to run in order to save themselves, yet sometimes running is not the proper solution. So how do I do that? Well, first thing I do is I go back and I look at my examples. Now you should have all of these boxes completed. You should have 3 examples for each one of yours. You should have already done this. You see I have just one here. Forrest runs, inspired by Jenny to escape bullies and to escape harm in the war. So that is my first example, right? So I can always just copy it with Control-C if I want. And I can come back here and I can paste it. But that's not enough to start off my first example. I want to say something like the first moment where running becomes a significant theme is, or topic, is when Forrest runs inspired by Jenny to escape bullies and to escape harm and war. Um, so again, you want to kind of just introduce this the first moment that we're talking about. So what I'd like you to do now to pause the video, go back and grab your first example and put it right here where it says first example. All right, if you're back, I'm assuming you did that. So your first example should be written here. You want to read it. Make sure the grammar is good. Make sure you clean it up. Remember, don't be using AI on this essay. I'll be searching to make sure you're not using AI. If you're using AI, I'm going to assume you're cheating. And if I catch you cheating by using AI through AI detection, you will get a zero on this essay. So don't do that, as you know. Okay, so now if you look at where it says, is there a quote from the film to support this example? Try to find one, however, leave it blank if you cannot. So what you would need to do is if you have a quote that explains this moment, you can go back and support it. I can show you where to find quotes. I know one off the top of my head, so I'm gonna introduce it. When Forrest is being attacked, Forrest is being attacked by bullies toward the beginning of the film, Jenny yells, "Run, Forrest, run." All right, we know that quote. Very popular quote, right? So I put a quote in there because my quote now supports my example that I use right here. Right? Now, sometimes you don't have a quote. Sometimes you might just have an example. You can just explain the example, which you always want to elaborate. After you give a quote, you don't just give a quote, but as you know, you got to give your explanation of how that quote proves my topic, right? So what I can do is just elaborate a little bit and say, it was Jenny who first inspires Forrest to run away from his problems, comma, something Jenny also does often in the film. I think that's kind of true. Now, that's a good amount of writing, but if I wanted to, I could elaborate even a little bit more. I don't need to give much more details into the moment, but I can say, just something along the lines of, she later tells him to follow these same instructions when he is fighting in the Vietnam War. Right? So now I made a statement here, and I gave an example, and then I proved that example, right? So what I want you to do is go ahead and try to do the first one for yourself, for your topic and your first example. So pause the video and do that now. Okay, if you're back, then I'm assuming that you have box A completed or not box A, your theme statement completed with your first example, right? So now I got to give my second example. So what I would do is I come back here. What is the second example you came up with? If not, you just kind of come up with it at the top of your head. So I can say something like, instead of the first moment where running becomes a significant topic, I can say something like, another moment where running is important is when, and then I would give another example from the story where running is important. Maybe I give the example of Forrest saving his platoon in Vietnam. Maybe I give an example of Forrest running later in the film. Maybe I give an example of Jenny running, because remember, we're talking about how sometimes it's not the right solution. So I got to give two more examples, the same way I did the first one. So what you want to do now is pause the video and complete the boxes for your second example and your third example. So pause the video and do that now. All right, if you're back, then I'm assuming you got almost all the boxes for your first body paragraph one complete, all the way up through right here. But you still got to close out the paragraph by either restating the theme or transitioning to the next paragraph. What that means is you kind of restate this theme statement, but do it in slightly different words, or lead into your next paragraph, which is going to be about your next topic. So remember, my next paragraph is destiny. So that's paragraph number 2 is going to be all about destiny. So I could say something like this. If I want to restate the theme, I could just say, these were several examples to show how running, I go back to see what my theme was. Oh, how running can help save a person, yet it can also cause negative outcomes. Again, so see how I'm saying the same theme here, but the same thing from up here, but in different words, right? I don't want to sound like a robot, so I'm saying it slightly different. So that's one way I can restate the theme. The other way you can complete this box is to transition to your next paragraph. So I can say something like, these were several examples how running can self-save a person, yet running is not the only significant topic in the film. The film also deals highly with destiny. And then that would lead right into my next paragraph about destiny. See what I did there? So again, it's up to you how you want to complete it. I like to just close out the paragraph, so I'm going to go back and use my previous example that I had. But you can do either one that you'd like, or a combination of both. It's up to you. So pause the video and close out your paragraph. Okay, if you're back, then I'm assuming that you have your first body paragraph outlined, which is awesome, which means you are cruising, which means you just got to kind of wash, rinse, and repeat the same process that you did, only for your second body paragraph. Now, mine would be about destiny, right, because that's my second topic that I'm writing about. And then my third body paragraph would be about love, right? So once again, I would want to start off with the theme statement about destiny. So I would go back, go here. I would have the topic of destiny written there. I should have a theme statement here that I already wrote. Go ahead and paste it there. And then just do the same process. If you need to go back and watch the section how I did body paragraph 1 in order to do body paragraph 2, you can do that. Otherwise, if you feel comfortable, just kind of keep, because you've already done it a few times, just go forward and do your second body paragraph. Then, once you finish that, you want to do your third body paragraph. And once you get through your third body paragraph, you're up to your final paragraph, which is your conclusion, which I'll show you on a different video. I'll show you how to conclude the essay, how to put it all together in a nice draft. Right? So your focus now for the next day or two is to get all 3 of your body paragraphs outlined. So go follow back through this video, follow the steps, make sure you're comfortable, and complete the body of your paper, which is the majority of your paper. So good luck to you. Again, this is video number 2 on how to write body paragraphs. And video number 3 will be provided for you tomorrow, so you can close out your essay.